I think my mouse is about to be done.
Oh, get a new mouse.
Yeah.
All right. So good evening, Manish Babu. You join now. Okay. All right. So let's start. We shall start with chanting. Huh? So we have so far learned to chant first 3 verses of Narayana Suktam. We shall do these 3 together. Okay, then we'll do the 4th. Okay, let's start. You can join me. Om Sahasra Shirasham Devam Vishwaksham Vishwasambhuvam Vishwam Narayanam Devam Aksharam Paramam Padam Vishwata Paraman Nittam Vishwam Narayanagam Harim Vishwame Vedam Purushas Tat Vishwam Upajivati Patim Vishwa Syat Me Shwaragam Shasatagam Shivamachyutam Narayanam Mahageyam Vishwatmanam Parayanam. Okay. So today we shall do the 4th verse of Narayana Suktam. Let us read together the meaning of the 4th verse. Okay. Narayana is the supreme light. Narayana is the supreme self. Narayana is the supreme meditator. Narayana is the supreme meditation. So we can see the entire hymn of Narayana Suktam is in fact adoration of the glory of that all-pervading Brahman, all-pervading ultimate reality, and that is being adored as Narayana, the Vishnu. Okay. Okay, the 4th one. So 4th one we shall do first call and response, then together. Narayano paro jyotir. Narayana paro jyotir. Atma Narayana paraha. Atma Narayana paraha. Narayana param brahma. Narayana param brahma. Tattam Narayana paraha. Tattam Narayana paraha. Narayana parodhyata. Narayana parodhyata. Dhyanam Narayana paraha. Dhyanam Narayana paraha. Okay, let's try to do it together. Narayana paro jyotir. Atma Narayana paraha. Narayana param brahma. Tattam Tam Narayana Paraha Narayano Paro Dhyata Dhyanam Narayana Paraha. Once more. Narayana Paro Jyotir Atma Narayana Paraha Narayana Param Brahma Tattam Narayana Paraha Narayana Paro Dhyata Dhyanam Narayana Paraha. Okay. All right. So we are studying Narada Bhakti Sutra. Narada has completed, we may say, aphorism 1 to 50. And we divided these aphorisms into 3 sections. In first, he first gave us an idea of the supreme love, how it is, how it expresses in the life of its practitioners, in the devotees. Second section, he spoke about the uniqueness of bhakti or superiority of bhakti, why bhakti is better than other paths. Third, he dealt with bhakti sadhana, what we should do to really have that kind of supreme love that he presented before us at the beginning. The love which is ecstatic, which is natural, spontaneous, and a supreme kind of love. So far we have seen that. Now, next we have 2 sections left. The next section is from aphorism number 51 to 66. This section is, miscellaneous. There is several topics discussed in this section. This section cannot be really said that it is all about that. Unlike the previous sections, this is assorted. First 3 aphorisms, 51, 52, 53, is about, again, the topic of ineffability of divine love. That divine love is beyond the expression of words. Ineffability of divine love. Next 2 aphorisms, 54 and 55, what the experience of divine love is like. Okay, granted that it cannot be expressed in words, but how does a person, a devotee, feels when, if this love dawns at their heart? How does it feel like? Aphorism 54, 55. Then aphorism 56 and 57, Narada will classify these apara bhakti or secondary bhakti. That is, bhakti as a path, bhakti not goal, bhakti as a path. How? There is classification in that too. That is, when we are approaching divine, we are practicing bhakti. In that journey itself, there are types of bhakti, types of this apara bhakti. As someone said, Hinduism is specialized in classification. Very often we see classify, gradations. So that we'll see in aphorisms 56, 57. Then again, Narada will speak about the easiness. Bhakti is easy. Aphorism 58, 59, 60. Bhakti is easy. Then aphorism 61 and 62, Narada will speak about how a devotee should interact with the society. How they should interact with the society. 61, 62. Aphorism 63 and 64, what an aspirant, a bhakta, should refrain from doing what they should not do. Okay. And finally, 65 and 66 is what they should do. What a bhakta should do. So these are the topics of this section, starting from aphorism 51 to 66. We shall see all of them in details. So today we shall study 4 aphorisms, 51, 52, 53, and 54. Let us look at aphorism 51 and 52 together before starting the discussion on them. Aphorism 51 and 52 we shall look together. Okay. Okay. Aphorism 51 is Anir Bachaniyam Prema Sarupam. Let us read it together. Anir Bachaniyam Prema Sarupam. Sarupam means the nature of prema. Prema is here that supreme love, supreme divine love. Anir Bachaniyam is ineffable. The nature of supreme divine love is ineffable. Ineffable means which cannot be expressed through words. Expressed through words, which is inexpressible. Aphorism 52 is Mukha Asadana Vat. Let us chant it. Mukha Aswadana Vat. Vat means like. Aswadana. Taste is ineffable. Mukha for a mute person, one who cannot speak. Okay, so the aphorism means like taste is ineffable for a mute person. Taste of anything, a mute person cannot speak how something tastes like. In the same way, it is very difficult to express the nature of this divine love. Okay, so let us have a look at it. Yes, so first, Anirvachaniya, Prema Sarupam. The nature of love is difficult to express through words. So our experiences are, all of our experiences have 2 parts. One is cognitive part, another is affective. Cognitive means it is all about the description of a thing. For example, I am somewhere and something happens. Okay, I can report in details what happened after what, who were there, all those things in details. But there is an affective or emotional part. That is how I felt. How I felt there. I went to a park. I saw all those things. We can easily tell others what were the things, but very difficult to express how we felt. We can use many words, but those words cannot really give the idea of really how I felt, what it is like for me to have that experience. So any feeling is difficult to convey through words. Any intense feeling or profound feeling is more difficult to convey to others. For example, any love that we know, mother's love for child. If someone, for example, someone comes from another planet and who has never experienced mother's love, and if that person asks me how it is mother's love, how it is, how is it? Can we really with the words can express what mother's love is for us? So even more so is this divine love, difficult to express through words. Why it is even more difficult to express this divine love through words? So we know that any feeling is difficult to express through words. But why this divine love is more difficult to express through words? Can anyone try to reply? Just attempt.
We've never had.
Yes.
Go ahead, Gwen. It's fine.
Yes, Victoria, go ahead.
Okay, because we have never had the feeling of total completion before. We've never experienced it in this realm.
Right, very good. Any other?
Because the definition to me of divine is something that is beyond our mind, in the sense that it's beyond speech and beyond the relative world that we know.
Both the answers are fine. Very good. I'm very happy that you said so nicely. Exactly. So mind and words are limited in the sense they can express only limited things. But this divine love, what we are speaking about now, is really beyond limitation, an unlimited thing. Secondly, what Victoria told, that words can express or convey only what we have already experienced. If someone has never tasted, say, milk, so, and how can I convey to that person what milk is like? So those who have not experienced the divine love, words cannot help much. Words cannot help much. And secondly, that one answer is also that mind and words. So this experience, divine experience, is where mind and words fail to capture that experience. You remember probably in Aphorisms, we came across this idea that it is difficult to express that Brahman, that ultimate reality, through words. And not only that, even that text suggested that not only about the ultimate reality, even this relative reality, relative world is difficult to express. We took the example of, say, a pen. How to express what a pen is like, right? A pen, the thing, the pen, and the word pen, are they same? They are not same. So it's a philosophical discussion that, in fact, nothing can be really expressed through words. It is a convention, and if we know the convention, what pen means, we get an idea, okay? And can anybody try to quote the Upanishad, the verse from Upanishad, which expresses this idea that mind and words are insufficient to express the truth? Can anyone attempt to? Because we have in our production of Bhakti, we came across that famous Upanishadic verse, mantra, hint, Taittiriya Upanishad. Even the idea will be, if someone cannot quote the mantra, but can tell the meaning in English meaning, that will be also good. Can anyone from memory? Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha tat brahma yato vacho nivartante. From where? So remember that portion of the Taittiriya Upanishad is trying to define what ultimate reality or Brahman is. The point is, Brahman cannot be said it is this. Okay, it can only be indicated or indirectly can spoken of. So after saying many things about Brahman, another definition of Brahman or characteristic of Brahman is yato vacho nivartante, from where words come back. From where words come back, and aprapya manasa saha. Aprapya means being unable to grasp it. Being unable to grasp it. The point is that it is not something that can be objectified. Okay, it is not something which can be objectified because words can express objects. Okay, but it is all about very subjective something. Okay, that's why words fail to express what Brahman is, and by the same token, what this supreme divine love is. Words can only give some hint. So that is. So then the question is, are words useless then? No, words are not useless. Words can point out to that direction, give us some idea until we have the experience ourselves. Sri Ramakrishna gives a wonderful example that why it is not possible to describe to others what that experience is like. So which example I am speaking about? A famous example that why it is not possible to give expression to that experience.
That salt.
Right. Very good. On spot. A salt doll went to measure. The ocean. Okay. And the salt doll itself, dissolved. So who will report back how the experience was? Okay, salt doll. Very good. So that is what we get the idea of, that this divine love is of such nature that we really get merged, or our personality gets dissolved into that experience. So to report anything, there should be that duality called subject and object. If subject itself gets dissolved into the object, then who can report what happened at that time, right? So, Sri Ramakrishna, that's why we find very often in gospel, Sri Ramakrishna says that I want to express many things, share many things about my highest spiritual realizations, but someone just hold my mouth shut. That means that I cannot find words. I cannot find words to express those highest realization. And Narada also is giving an example. It is just like a mute person. If a mute person tastes something and someone asks how it tastes like, a mute person cannot say. In the same way, this supreme love, it is difficult to say what it is like, and especially to those who have not experienced anything. Okay, but suppose two persons meets, both of whom have experienced this divine love, then they can communicate. Maybe even without words. So this is the point they are trying to make. Sri Ramakrishna also gives the example, how does the butter taste? If someone who has not tasted butter, how does the butter taste? So the answer is butter tastes like butter. Butter tastes like butter. That is also these two aphorisms. Narada at the very beginning says that this divine love, supreme divine love, prema, he says it prema, is inexpressible. Okay. Now the next aphorism. Next aphorism is aphorism 53. It is prakashate kapi patre. Let's read it together. Prakashate kapi patre. Prakashate means it is manifested. That is, in other words, it is experienced by ka opi, some rare patre, individuals. The literal meaning of patra is a vessel, a container. The literal meaning of this aphorism is this supreme love that we are speaking about is manifested in some rare vessel or some rare container. But it is equally good to read it in this way, that it is experienced by some rare individuals. Okay, so first, the previous two aphorisms says that this supreme love is ineffable. But although it is ineffable, it is experienced by some rare, worthy individuals. Rare, okay? Rare people get it. We remember, Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says that about this rarity. Can anyone recall at least the meaning? At least the meaning of that. The verse of Bhagavad Gita where Sri Krishna speaks about. Yes, Subhash is correct. Chapter 7th, verse number 3rd. Among thousands of people, only one in 1,000 try to know me or come to me. And among them also, one rare can reach me. Manushanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye. Yatatam api siddhanam kaschit mam vetti tattata. So vetti means knowing. Here we may say that this dissolving into God or experiencing that divine love is very rare. Now, another question. Today, a lot of questions. Who are these rare people? Who are these rare people? Any idea? I mean, not naming, what could be the characteristics of those rare people in the context of what we have read so far.
Those who
Absolute pure of heart.
have surrendered? to
Yes,
divine-
those who have surrendered, of course, sure.
Sthitadi people.
Who?
Sthitadi.
Sthitadhi. Okay. In the context of what we have read so far, these are, around the target. I'm looking for an answer which is on the target.
Mahanubhava.
Mahanubhava.
Yeah.
Any other?
Nashocati na kankshati.
Huh?
Nashocati na kankshati. The characteristic of a person. Nashocati na kankshati.
All right. These are all around the target. But
Sthita prajna.
Sthir pragya.
Stitapragya, Narada has not mentioned the word at all. Okay, I'm just looking for an answer which will connect Narada Bhakti Sutras, what we have read so far, with this aphorism.
Those who keep God in their presence every moment.
Good. That is of course. Any more elaboration?
Those who practice all the Narada has given the
Right.
sutras.
Thanks. Perfect answer. Narada, in just previous section, he spoke about, Bhakti Sadhanani, right? 4 practices in the beginning, 11 practices in the beginning, at the end. Okay. So definitely those who can follow those practices to their end, they will definitely reach this goal, right? Because those are the means for what? For Parabhakti. Parabhakti, yes, for Parabhakti. Okay, those are Aparabhakti. Aparabhakti are the means for reaching where? Parabhakti, which is ineffable. Okay, so the rare people are those who follow those 11 practices. But as we noted before, there are rare individuals who don't have to go through these practices. Okay, from very childhood, they are endowed with that kind of supreme devotion. Okay, but for most of us who have not had that kind of experience, if we follow those 11 practices, we can be also one of those rare people. So rarity is not to discourage us here. What Narada is saying, that this divine love is experienced by some rare people. It is not to discourage us, rather it is to encourage us, inspire us, that if we can follow what Narada has said in the section before, and there are lot of exemplars in all spiritual traditions. Christianity, hundreds of people, Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, every faith tradition, there are multiple people who have experienced this divine love, okay, or this kind of final experience. So it is to encourage us that Narada says that it is prakashate kapi patre. And one funny note here, the Swami, patre means, vessel, patre. It also means container. So container can be a human being, even an utensil is called a container, right? Patra means, usually it means a vessel. So the Swami who taught us, he was very humorous. He said, prakashate coffee patre. Copy the word copy. He said coffee, in a coffee mug. So he used to say that, look, don't think it is coffee mug. It is copy patre. That is in some rare individuals. Don't confuse it with coffee mug. It is some rare individuals. Okay. Now the next question is, yes, if it is experienced by a few, rare few, and any one of us is potentially can experience it if we follow Narada's prescription, and this experience is ineffable, difficult to convey to others. But how the experience feels like, when someone experiences it. In next 2 aphorisms, Narada wants to give an example or some idea about what it feels like to have that experience. And also, remember, if we look closely in the next two aphorisms, he will speak about some qualities of this supreme devotion, para bhakti, some qualities, and we shall find these qualities are not present in any other kind of love or experience we have in our day-to-day life. These qualities make para bhakti altogether quantitatively as well as qualitatively different from any other sentiment we know of. That is why also this para bhakti is ineffable. Ineffable. Okay. We shall see that in next two aphorisms, all the qualities make it the experience so different from anything we know of. Okay. So, and since it is difficult to convey anything if we don't know about it, that is why also para bhakti is ineffable. Okay. Let's have a look in the next aphorism, aphorism 54. Okay, it's a long aphorism, but it's easy, as such easy. Aphorism is guna rahitam, kamana rahitam, pratikshana bardhamanam, avichinnam, shukshmataram, anubhava rupam. Let us chant together. Guna rahitam, kamana rahitam, pratikshana bardhamanam, avichinnam, shukshmataram, anubhava rupam. So every word has so much meaning, so meaningful, so profound. We shall see. Anubhava rupam. Anubhava rupam means it is an experience that is guna rahitam, beyond attributes. Kamana rahitam, devoid of all desires. Avichinnam, that is uninterrupted, or we may say unbroken. Pratikshana. Pratikshana means every moment, that is ever. Bardhamanam. Bardhamanam means increasing, ever increasing. And shukshma taram. Shukshma means subtle. Shukshma taram means very subtle. So the entire aphorism means it is an experience that is beyond attributes, devoid of all desires, uninterrupted, ever increasing, and very subtle. It is an experience that is beyond attributes, devoid of all desires, uninterrupted, ever increasing, and very subtle. Yes, so as we said that how this is one of the two aphorisms trying to give an idea of how, what it feels like, what the experience is like of prema. Prema means this para bhakti, supreme devotion. Okay. First is anubhava rupam. It is anubhava. It is an experience, first of all. A subjective experience, which is a very inner experience and very private experience. Anubhava rupam. You remember anubhuti, the word, Aparaksha anubhuti. So if we just look at it interestingly, the proof of anything according to Vedanta has 3 components, right? Can anybody tell the 3 components of proof? Vedanta says that whenever we are coming across some statement, spiritual statement, 3 things should tally. This is also a text of memory of Aphorisms. Okay.
Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasana.
No,
Shravanam,
No, Maharaj, is it scripture,
right,
our
then,
own direct experience?
right.
And I think is it Guru's words?
Logic.
Logic.
Shruti, Yukti, Anubhuti. Okay, Shruti, Yukti, Anubhuti. So we repeated this term again and again in Aphorisms. Okay, one is, it should tally with scriptures or holy text, and it is Yukti. It has a logic. It is not totally illogical something. Okay, it has its own logic. And finally, Anubhuti, experience. So here, Anubhuti is the proof of existence of such ecstatic love. Anubhuti is the proof here. Okay. So once we have experienced even a little bit of this love, we won't have any doubt about the possibility of this ecstatic love that we are speaking about. Even a little bit of it will give us a hint of what Narada is trying to convey to us about this supreme love. So this first thing is, it is Anubhava Rupam, of the nature of Anubhuti. Then Guna Rahitam. I take the translation Guna as attributes, not Sattva Raja Tama. That way also it can be interpreted, but I am sticking to this translation called attributes. It is beyond attributes, that is devoid of any attribute. That is why it is difficult to describe this love precisely. Okay, any precise description of this divine love is difficult because it does not have attribute. Okay, attribute means its quality, which is tangible quality or tangible taste, tangible sound. These things are absent in it. So it is guna rahitam, beyond any precise description. Then kamana rahitam, that is devoid of all desires. It means that this love or the joy of this love is unlike other joys, which are mostly from fulfillment of desires. Fulfillment of desires. This joy of this divine love is not a joy which is due to fulfillment of desires. In that sense, it is devoid of all desires. But someone might say that, how about the desire for God, or even desire for bhakti? Okay, how about that? This is also a desire to have divine love. So what should be our answer in that case? This is also a desire. But Narada says it is beyond all desires, because all desires have been fulfilled through experience. Yes, that is one fine answer. One fine answer.
Spiritual desire doesn't have any worldly, it's not like worldly desires.
Right. Worldly desires are, when fulfilled, that fulfillment is not permanent. Okay. No desires, the joy from fulfillment of desire is not permanent. One desire we fulfill and we happy about it, but again, that happiness is not permanent. It is gone. Okay. Unlike that, this joy of divine love is not that we have fulfilled something. We have achieved something for which we are happy about. So it's a qualitative difference. Yes, someone else wanted to answer anything about it? Sri Ramakrishna gave a great example. Sri Ramakrishna said that, yes, this desire for bhakti is also a desire, but it is just like, he gave us an example, shrimp. He said, shrimp is not a fish at all. Although it belongs to the fish family, it is not a fish at all. In the same way, the desire for love or desire for God is not a desire at all. Rather, it is a destroyer of all desires. He gave a few examples, other examples. I am not giving the example because hard to give the English translation for those words. He gave a few examples, okay, that too much of sweets are not good for our health. But there is one kind of sweet which is not bad. Similarly, this bhakti, desire for bhakti, bhakti kamana, or desire for God is not at all a desire itself. Rather, it is such a desire, it is just like a big fire which consumes all the other fires, or a huge flame which consumes all other flames. In that sense, it is kamana rahitam. Then, what is the next one? Abhichinnam, uninterrupted or unbroken. So, for any other kind of love, that experience of love, suppose I love you, okay? That experience of love is not a continuous process. It has beginning, then end, again beginning, end. It is not that all the time we are experiencing that love, no matter how much I love you. But this divine love is, first of all, unconditional, does not depend upon any external circumstances. Secondly, it is an unbroken inner experience. It is no beginning and no end. And the beauty of this love is, once we have that kind of love, one will feel that there was never a time when this love was not present. We just fail to recognize this divine love. Okay, and we become sure that it will always remain so, this love. That is why it is abhichinnam, continuous, unbroken. Now, another question. Question is, can you remember any other aphorism which gave this same idea that this love is abhichinnam or unbroken, uninterrupted? Yes, go ahead. Unmute yourself and answer. Any other aphorism which gave this idea that this love is really unbroken, eternal? Yes, go ahead.
No, it's not the aphorism, but is it like the light of a lamp that lightens a room compared to the sun which illuminates the whole world? Is that
No, I
look at
am
that?
asking for this a particular aphorism. There was a particular aphorism which had the same idea in it. And we had a great discussion. Detail. What's that?
Ananyata. I don't remember that.
Ananyata means not dependence of anything else. See, we are forgetting the basics. It was the third aphorism, Amrita Sarupacha. Third aphorism we had discussed so much at the very beginning. Satu asmin parama prema rupa. Divine love is supreme love for God. Okay, second aphorism. Third was Amrita Sarupacha, which is of the nature of eternity. That is, now we are not feeling that love, but once that love dawns on our heart, we shall feel there was never a time when this love was not present. We just forgot to recognize it. And we become sure that this love will never end. In that sense, it is Amrita Sarupa. Amrita means eternal, something eternal. The same idea is avichinna, uninterrupted. Then, not only that it is unbroken experience, next one is even more. That is patikshana vardhamanam. Patikshana means every moment, vardhamanam, increasing, ever increasing. Other sentiments, other emotions come and go, but this sentiment, if we are allowed to use the word sentiment or mood of divine love, is not only unbroken, but ever increasing. So what does ever increasing means? Ever increasing may mean two things, according to me. One is, it is ever fresh. This experience is ever fresh. Okay, any other emotion, we will be bored with the same emotion if it remains with us for longer duration. But this experience is ever fresh. A bhakta who is having such an experience will never feel that I am bored with divine love. Okay, it is every moment new, every moment fresh. In that sense, it is ever increasing. Second sense of ever increasing means there is no limit. There is no limit to this love. One cannot say that I have reached the limit of this love. Okay, so in that sense, it is ever increasing, ever increasing. Otherwise, it is difficult to explain that if divine love, I have got that divine love, supreme devotion, what could be there after even supreme devotion? What could be even after that the supreme devotion? So it is only possible that the supreme devotion has no limit. And secondly, it is ever fresh, ever fresh. That is why it is ever increasing. And finally, shukshmataram, very subtle. Very subtle in the sense it is beyond the grasp of the senses, our five senses. It is so subtle, like it is present all the time at the background of our mind. I think that this subtlety can be experienced, it can be explained better through an example, you know. So the more high quality a perfume or incense stick which we have used, high quality perfume, high quality incense sticks, their fragrance is very subtle, not strong, okay, subtle, but the fragrance lingers on for a long time. Okay, so not only for divine love, any joy which is subtle, one taste of that subtle joy, which our scriptures always say, sattvika happiness or higher quality of joy, is that they are profound and their effect remain long lasting. And subtle means also profound. That is, they touch us at a very profound level. Okay, so remember this example of a very strong incense stick, strong perfume versus a very costly subtle perfume, which remains for a longer time, lingers on for a longer time, but affects us very subtly. So this divine love is like that. It is such that no matter what we are doing, what we are engaged in, a part of our mind is into that love. Okay. A part of our mind, a part of our personality is engaged, or we may say that the word is a part of our personality is always experiencing this subtle love. Okay. Another example, maybe a very faint example, could be that suppose we have liked a song very much. Okay, so we'll see that no matter what we are doing, a part of our being is singing that song. It is not conscious, but a part of our being engaged in that song. That song is playing automatically, spontaneously. In the same way, an idea about this supreme love, that it is so engaging, involving, and subtle that no matter what we are doing, it is always with us. Sukshmatarang. So as I said, the above qualities, and if we compare any other experience of ours with these qualities, we will find that none of our any other experience, day-to-day experience, show these qualities. Is subtlety, is unbrokenness, is ever-increasing nature. It's going beyond desires, going beyond attributes. That is why this divine love is, in fact, inexpressible, but still Narada is trying to give us some idea about what it is like. We will continue with this in the next aphorism 2, that we shall see. Okay, a lot of questions I am seeing. Let me see. Sugary sweet, Manushanam. We are unable to unmute one who is completely surrendered to divine Sita Prabhupada Sukasanda. Prataksha Anubhava Pramana, right? Yes, scripture, Jnana Bhakti. Okay. Is divine love is supreme from the beginning only, or gradually reaches its supremacy through continuous spiritual practice? Yes, it is a very good question. It's a very good question. This divine love, okay, does it appear at some point in our mind, and or it manifests gradually? So it's a very good question, and I would like to hear what you have to speak, what you have to answer. What do you think? Others try to answer this question. This divine love we are speaking about, does it manifest gradually, or it is present from the very beginning? Gradually. Okay, one answer I got, gradually. Both. Okay, to be safe side. Yes, it is present. Yes, exactly. This divine love is unlike other love that we fall in at some particular point. Okay, this is the mysterious nature of this divine love, that it is always present. It is present. Okay, it manifests gradually, and we cannot say from this moment it manifested. We cannot say from this moment. Okay, definitely some spiritual experiences reinforces our love, but this sense of, a clear timeline of when we had this love and when we had not cannot be done for this prema bhakti. Okay, suddenly probably we glide into that zone, glide into, and it is not a very sharp differentiating line. And when we glide into the zone, we find that it was always there. Okay, it was always there. It happens immediately in the no mind state. It is overwhelming and completing. It is the experience we may say it, that no mind state, but one cannot say that. Suppose you have God realization in today's meditation. After that, you will have Parabhakti, or after that, I have Parabhakti. It cannot be said like that. Okay, so Parabhakti is definitely a process, which manifests gradually, but again, not in such a timeline manner. Okay, and if we look at the life of the realized people, kafi patre, what will happen is that they already had a strong yearning for love, okay, and experiences after experiences bolstered in them, and then they somehow entered that zone when they were always in touch of this realm of Parabhakti. No timeline, because this state is beyond time, space, and causation. Yeah, philosophically saying, yeah. Do all realized soul experience Parabhakti? Parabhakti, in what sense we are taking Parabhakti? We are talking about Bhakti tradition. They experience Parabhakti. Okay, suppose a Buddhist who has experienced Nirvana. Can these things be applied to them? Definitely not. They will say in a totally different way. Totally different way. So, but as far as the real thing is concerned, that is transformation of our personality, that is same, no matter what path one has taken to. Okay, so all realized soul will have Parabhakti. This will depend upon how we are defining Parabhakti as. Okay, the Parabhakti that Narada is defining here is in according to the tradition of Bhakti, tradition of devotion. All right, so we shall have a guided meditation. Okay, and before that,